Hi guys, welcome back. Kieran here, Whitefoot Guitars. I've decided to do a bit of rating before I take the rater out of the table. I just want to get a couple of things trimmed down while I can, just so I'm not swapping the rater backwards and forwards, several times. So I've got the top ready to go with the template, so I can get that down to the right size. It'll make it a bit easier for lining it up with the body. And I've also got the fretboard blank mounted on the fret slotting jig that I use for 25-inch scale. So I'm going to trim that down flush, so that's a bit easier to work with, and when I get a radius on it, it'll make life a little bit easier to cut. It's always easier to cut on a curve rather than a flat surface, so I want to try and get that done before too long. Right, now I'm going to get the body to thickness afterwards, so that means I'm going to use the flattening jig that I made a couple of years ago, because I don't have a planer thickness or wide enough to take a guitar body. At some point in the future, I'm hoping to get myself a drum sander, which will just make life a whole lot easier. They're incredible machines and really good for the job. So I'll bring the camera over and show you quickly what it is. This is the jig I made so that I can flatten whole guitar bodies. Just an MDF board with some rails attached. Got a centre line for alignment, and then that cradle sits outside the rails, and the rotor sits on top, and it just moves it back and forth. So when you've got the rotor set to the depth cut you want, it takes what you need it to. It's not absolutely pinpoint accurate, but it gets me within a fraction or so of where I need to be. So as you can see on the body, I'm taking off a fair chunk there. If I had a big enough bandsaw, I would have done it to the billets before I jointed them, but I don't. It's only a 8-inch, 10-inch bandsaw. So again, one day, hopefully, I'll get a big beast that can do book matching, etc. So that's what we're doing in a bit, but first I'm going to trim down the top and the fretboard. So that's the top and the fretboard blank trimmed down. The fretboard still needs thicknessing, which we'll do later. I'll get to that when I'm ready, after I've sorted out a bit more with the neck. So now we're going to get this body blank down more towards the thickness that I wanted. You see, so I've got a line mark around the outside for how much I want to take off, using my jig. The blanks fixed down to the base using masking tape and super glue, which is one of the most useful tricks I've picked up since starting this as a hobby. It's one of those things you don't think it's going to work until it does, and then it's a bit mind-blowing, although you do spend a lot of money on masking tape and super glue, but it's a quick, simple way of work holding, and it's not going to move at all, because you can put a lot of lateral pressure on before the super glue gives way, but when you're done, you just apply a bit of vertical pressure and it pops off. So yeah, it's a lot less aggravating than trying to use double-sided tape. So I'm going to fire this up, make a lot of noise and a lot of dust and a lot of mess, so there'll be a lot of cleaning up after, but I thought, well, I've still got a few days left before I go back to my normal day job. I want to get the big messy job done so I can get this place clean again without too much aggravation and worrying about leaving it till the following weekend and I can't get in here. So you'll see a bit of the jig in use shortly, but I'll be at it for quite a while, so it won't be the whole thing. I'll just give you a brief look at it. So I'll see you on the other side. And we're there. Triton racer with a surfacing bit and a knocked together jig from offcuts and scrap. But it's made a hell of a mess, and it gets really warm in here when I've got the rotor and vacuum going for some extraction. Not that it's doing a great deal, as you can see, we've made some real man glitter this afternoon. But see, I'm still just proud of where I marked, but that's fine. So it's left quite a good surface. I brought you back in just to see the last couple of passes along the body. For the majority of it, I was going across the grain and cutting in this direction. Well, it's easier on the router just because of how they work. And then the last bit, I left it at the depth and took it along the grain because it helps remove some track marks and helps to tidy it up. So once I've got all this clear, I'll go over it with sander, leveling beam, scrapers, whatever I need to tidy it up and make it pretty. This is the back of the guitar, and it's mostly good on the join, except for a little bit here at the back, right at the end. But that's okay, I can sort that out later on when it gets closer to final sanding, finishing, etc. But it is still slightly oversized, so we are going to trim off a little bit to get it to the correct shape, and then obviously there'll be some round over on the edges as well, so that will take a lot of that off anyway. So but a little bit of dust, some glue, and it shouldn't even be noticeable, so I won't tell if you won't. So yeah, there we go. Had to open the door to get some air in, and made myself a brew again, because as I said, I survive on tea. Can't build guitars without tea. So thanks for sticking with me again, guys, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.